Happy Military Marriage Day. Actually, happy Military Marriage Week. Should be celebrated year-round. Bree, I am so proud of you for your advocacy for this. I'm Kristen Christy. I'm a resilience speaker, master resilience trainer, and the 2018 AFI Air Force Spouse of the Year. When Bree asked me to speak today on healthcare, mental health, and relationships, I hesitated. Many know, but many may not, that in 2004, my husband, Lieutenant Colonel Don Christy, went on a deployment to Baghdad for 4.5 months. And I talk about how he did come back different. In 4 years, our marriage imploded, our family was decimated. In 2008, Don took his life. And I still remember that doorbell ringing with the notification. I feel like I failed as a spouse. I tried my best with my children. My oldest son, September 20th of 2022, it will be 7 years since the last time I saw him. And both of my kids attempted because the role model had. And because of that and the life circumstances, because of my guilt and shame and trying to get over that, I have really delved in deep into the three top major reasons of suicide. Relational is over 40% of suicides are based on relationship, financial and legal issues. And I will say we had all three of those. I've learned some hard lessons, but the fact that Bree and her ambassadors have worked on Military Marriage Day is so important for the health of our military members, the health of our families, the health of our total force. I think communication is so vitally important. Talking to your spouse, asking them the tough questions at times. I wish that I could go back 14 years ago and ask, straight out ask, look him in the eye and ask, are you thinking of suicide? I think back now, I would be afraid of the answer, but now we have the resources. We know what the resources are, and if you don't know what the resources are, find them. There are people out there just waiting for you to call, especially 988. 988 is the new suicide prevention lifeline. I brought it up in 2017, started talking about how can we get a 3-digit number like 911. And then found out that Senator Cory Gardner and excuse me, our own HEBA, the 2022 AFI Air Force Spouse of the Year, worked for Senator Gardner, Senator Moran. They came along, and in 2020, it passed the House, it passed the Senate, and it was signed by executive order. And July 16th of 2022, 988 was enacted as the new suicide prevention lifeline. It's also the veteran crisis line. You dial 1 after you're connected to 988, and it's the military crisis line. It's the same number, 3 different names. You can even text to 988. But it's not only for you when you're in crisis, but it's for you when you have someone you care about in crisis and that you love, to give you the resources. But there's so many resources at every installation. Please find those resources ahead of time. It's so vitally important. But one, I didn't have those resources back then or know of those resources. And 2, I was afraid he would say yes, and then what do I do? But 3, I was afraid he would be mad at me. And let me tell you, I would much rather him be angry with me than to have my son read the eulogy. So find out what your resources are. Communicate with your spouse. I will say that I'm remarried. I met my spouse on Match.com. It works. And I'm an Air Force recruiter. He was Navy Reserve when we met, and he's now Air Force Reserve. And Sean calls me beautiful like it's my first name. But we did do counseling beforehand. And one thing that our counselor gave to us, and I think it is so valuable and I want to share with you today, is that when we have subjects that we don't feel comfortable talking about, but we need to talk about because our relationship is important, and we don't really want to try and filter what we're going to say because it takes too long or whatever the reason is, our counselor suggested that we grab pinkies. Grabbing pinkies just is our way of saying, I love you more than anything in this world. Our relationship is important, but I have some things I need to get off my chest that may not be filtered, that may come off as attacking. But remember, I love you, and we just need to talk. So remember, relationship is so vitally important. It's important for the service member and yourself. It's important for your family. It's important for the mission, for the military mission. Happy Military Marriage Day. Bree, again, so proud of you, and just hope is not canceled.